are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Hey, y'all, this is your Southern sister, Jenny Earhart, with the Southern Sisters Radio Show. I would love to connect with you on Facebook. Check us out at Southern Sisters with Jenny Earhart and online at southernsistershome.com. I'm in Wynn's World, and I love it.
Hey, baseball fans, I'm Casey Motter. Welcome to Wynn's World.
This is Larry WACHS of the world-famous WACHS Modcast, Atlanta's #1 smartphone radio show on iTunes and Google Play. But that's nothing compared to Wynn's World. This week, I tried to start finding my new binge show. I have none currently.
What were you on last?
Well, I'm in the middle of Better Call Saul, but it's annoying because you can't binge. You got to accept it from the network first. You just dispense with that. I have no show. I went casting about. I went on Google and I searched like bingeable shows for 2017. I got all these recommendations. Each one of them sucked. I quit them after 15 minutes.
You try Broadchurch?
What is that?
It's kind of a murder mystery. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Well, okay, murder, it's not enough. Like, murder mystery, give me some more information. Because here's what happened. Every time I turned on one of these shows, I thought, this is Hollywood screenwriter who's never been any place in his life but Hollywood drivel.
No, this is actually based across the pond.
I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's a true story or not. It's the writing. It's how the story is written, how the characters talk.
It's different.
Yeah. So many of these shows talk like movie characters would talk, but not real people would talk.
Right.
They just talk like a screenwriter who thinks he's clever using the next Aaron Sorkin or some bull like that. I turned that off right away. You're going to be all wordy and clever, and every character is going to talk in such hyper-autistic, clever phraseology. It's not real. These characters are always snarky, always snappy. Ugh, I gave up on sitcoms like Modern Family. It's just too snappy.
How about Bloodline?
Bloodline.
Oh, man, that's
What's that about? Tell me about it. Sell me. I mean, just saying the title, and it's a great show, is not good salesmanship, Joseph.
It's about this family who has all this deep-seated
what's the setting?
Drama.
First of all, what's the setting?
It's right by the beach in Florida.
What year?
Modern day.
Okay, so it's a Florida beach mystery.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much that goes into...
Who gets murdered?
I can't go into it.
How does the show start? What's the first episode?
The first episode starts with some flashbacks, and it sets the tense and the scene for the next several episodes. So there's a lot of things that you see, and you're like, what the hell was that? But then as the story progresses, you see, oh, now I'm starting to put it together. We're still waiting for the next season. There's only been, I think, 1 or 2 seasons so far, so we're waiting for the third, I believe.
All right, I'll give it a look. I'll know within 10 minutes whether it's worth pursuing.
Oh, it's good. Plus, you know, the background with the ocean and all that, it's very therapeutic. So it offers that in addition. Because sometimes bad TV can be made good just by the setting?
No.
Not saying it's bad TV. I'm just saying.
Bad TV good because of the setting. Like what?
Like Baywatch.
Well, that was not the setting. That was the bikinis. That was it had nothing to do with setting. It was
part of the scene, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, softcore porn.
They got a new one coming out,
which works in the mountains too.
Do you see that? They got the Rock and Zac Efron and a couple hotties. The brunette's super hot.
What are you thinking? I go see it?
I'm not. No, I'm going to wait till it comes out on Redbox. Can't beat $125.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pay any more.
No, not at all
for the new Baywatch.
No,
with Zac Efron.
I think Seth Rogen had a directing or producing piece in it. So
I'm trying to think of a reason why I would pay any money to watch a homosexual's view of heterosexuality. I just don't understand that.
It's very true nowadays. That's all you really see.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You know, let's conform to reality. Let's reality about our media. At least half of them are homosexuals.
Sure.
So their commentary on sexuality is just of no use. On my sexuality, their comments, their notes, their observations, their suggestions about how I should conduct my sexuality as a heterosexual male,
right?
Immaterial to me.
Yeah, these guys sit outside of Starbucks for 5 hours and take notes.
Right.
That's it.
They're all smokers. Nothing wrong with that, but as we know, as we've been taught.
Right.
But that's what they are, and so you can't. I'm not going to pay any money to get views on heterosexuality from homosexuals. It just doesn't make any economic sense.
Well, just like they wouldn't take anything that we said about them to the bank, you know? I don't know what it's like to be gay.
If I said, hey fellas, by the way, you know, there's a cure for being gay, you know, it's called so try it sometime, make the choice.
Ew.
Right, they would say, oh, you're just so politically incorrect with your hate. There's no way. Why would we as homosexuals want to turn into heterosexuals anyway? Because you're miserable all the time and you're always complaining and bitching and acting like ladies. So there's that. So yeah, that's why I don't watch. I'm not gulled in by Baywatch.
It would really suck if you had one son and only one son and they were gay. I'd feel like such a failure as a dad. I really would. I
think the reason that people don't want to have a gay son, I just talked with a woman the other day. She was telling me nonstop about her gay son. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst evening ever. I just met her 5 minutes before and already she's telling me about her gay son.
Wow.
Like, I don't care about your gay son. I was with another friend of mine. We were joking like, aren't we a great gay couple? I didn't know anything about this woman. I was just introduced to her. I said, aren't we a great gay couple? We have the same drink, blah, blah, blah. She says, I have a gay son, by the way. It's like, okay.
Oh, were you supposed to apologize at that point?
Right. Yeah, she was censoring me.
Right.
Passively, aggressively censoring me. I didn't say a word. I said, you know, whatever. I went back to my gay antics. I didn't care. I was like, why is that my burden? Oh, everybody should stop what they're doing because you have a gay son. Are you out of your mind? I just met you. Where do you get off demanding these burdens? It's unbelievable. Then she shows me pictures of her stupid gay son. Oh, he was at the March for Science.
That doesn't make sense, because science tells you that being gay doesn't make sense.
It used to.
Oh, yeah.
It used to classify as a mental illness, but now the political correctites have gotten to science. These are the people marching for science. You know, of course, the people who say that science says that a guy named Bruce can cut off his and now he's a woman. That's the science they're marching for. I found out, like, after asking. I even asked her, I said, what is that? She said, oh, that's his anti-Trump sign, which has nothing to do with science. But I said, no, not the Trump sign. What is the March for Science? I said, what is it? What is it? I've never heard of this. And she's all like, well, it's about science. I said, well, does this mean science is on the brink of disappearing? Like, we're going to go back to guessing it? I mean, what does this mean? What does this mean? You're marching for science. Is it in danger of, or are we in danger of losing science? And she said, we're not talking about politics now.
You struck a chord.
I said, well, you started. I mean, I haven't talked about politics at all. You've been all gay son, Trump, anti-Trump, which has nothing to do with science, and marching for science. I guess there's some connection they're making, like Trump is against science. Or
sure.
He deleted half a penny from the budget of Planned Parenthood, and they're screaming that he's anti-science or something. I know it's something like that. I don't know. And I asked her, I said, well, you know, how's he doing? How's your gay son doing? And her reaction was odd. She was like, well, you know, he's kind of depressed. He's up in New York City, and he has some sort of autoimmune problem.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my God, really? But he's doing great.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, yeah, that's the iron. I mean, she says to me, but he's doing great. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
She wanted to deny the fact that maybe his lifestyle is causing him a grievance.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Right. It was a natural motherly instinct. Like, she knows that there's big problems with having a gay son. But I think what the people who have gay sons really don't, it's not that they're gay. It's not what people dread. It's the fact that there's a fix for, if you don't want your son to be gay and your son doesn't want to be gay, there's a fix for that. But because the fixes for it are so politically incorrect, like if you had a gay son, would you have the courage to say to people, I'm going to find a cure for this?
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
You would say that. You understand the blowback you would get on social media? You would be hated by your entire family even.
Maybe.
That's how politically incorrect it is. Science has nothing to do with it. It's all about politics. So I think that's the tension with most parents of gay kids. It's like, they want to intervene and they want to steer them in the right direction. Like, if I had a gay son, I would send him to Island, Jeffrey Epstein's Island, tomorrow. I don't care how much it costs. That's just one of many cures. And there actually were psychological cures, but you read whenever the CBS 46 does an expose of the ungaying centers run by such and such a church, they all over it, right? They want everybody arrested. They want this ban this idea that you can turn somebody from gay to ungay. I mean, you see straight guys all of a sudden say, I'm with this dude. I mean, I've seen it happen. I know married guys with kids. All of a sudden, I'm done with this family. I'm going with the dude. I'm going to go with my true passion. It's like, well, if you can go from ungay to gay, it stands to reason you go from gay to ungay. You got to change whatever the programming is in that person's brain. The gay lobby has been successful of telling people, like, no, this is natural. Even though
you were
it's a
born
choice.
that way.
And they treat it like it's a birth defect. And my question to them is always, well, if it's not a birth defect, why are you treating it as such?
Right.
And why wouldn't you want a cure for a birth defect? Like if somebody a kid was born with, I don't know, name your disease, pleurisy.
Yeah.
You'd want to fix that, right?
Sure.
And we know that biologically, it is a genetic defect to want to be with the same sex because then you can't reproduce. Nature only cares about you reproducing. Right. That's what God wants.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing's all about.
Be fruitful and multiply.
That's it. Because we're part of God's experiment, and we got to do our jobs. So when you're homosexual, you're literally going
deviating from the plan.
Deviating from God's plan.
Yeah.
Okay? Which makes you a deviant by definition.
Right.
But people don't want to hear that truth because it makes them feel bad. And so we go to great lengths to worry about their feelings more than the greater good. I think that's the tension I sensed on this woman. And I know other people with gay sons and daughters, and they're like they always feel left out and they feel helpless. So they have no choice but to defend their son because there's nothing they can do about it. They're in emotional free fall, and they're doing anything they can to just grab onto something to stop the free fall.
So getting back to the conversation you had with that lady, after she said everything's great with her gay son, what happened after that? Did the conversation cease? Or
I just didn't I didn't like her. She was just not a nice person. So I just didn't like her.
She just wanted to pick a fight with you, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she looked like she was the type of person who wants to pick a fight with. I said, I'm not going to pick a fight with her.
Yeah, don't indulge.
No.
It was funny. I was listening to a Sam Cooke song on the way to pick up my son from daycare. And one of the lyrics said, where everybody's gay. And I thought, that's what the word actually means. But really, getting back to your point about how gay people are so unhappy, they should find a better word to describe it, a more fitting word.
I never was around when gay meant something other than homosexual.
Right. Twisting the night away.
Twisting the night away.
Let me tell you about a place somewhere up New York way where the people are so gay, twisting the night away.
It's the original meaning. I gotta assume. I don't know what year was the turning point for the word gay. I can't pinpoint it. I would guess somewhere in the late 60s.
Yeah, released January of 62, recorded 61, December. Wow, that seems pretty late for that word to be used. But yeah, I wonder when the turning point was.
That convinces me it was like the late, I'm going to say, I'm just going to go with the obvious and go 1969.
Right.
That's, to me, when it should turn from happy to homo.
I've found that your new commuter show is drawing the attention to the masses here in the ATL.
Yes, thank you. It is the talk of new media, the commuter show.
I like it.
Let me explain what that is. I've developed on Facebook Live and Periscope Atlanta's and maybe even the nation's first ever TV show for people driving around in their cars. And nobody's doing it. Everybody thinks that all car drivers deserve is radio. You drive around, right? Just like everybody else.
Sure
you drive,
do.
you commute. Did you ever think to yourself, wouldn't it be great to have a TV show I could watch while I'm driving around sitting in this traffic?
I don't know. That would be the smartest thing to do, watch TV.
I didn't ask if it was the smartest thing, but it's something that would be fun to do, right? To have a TV show. You can pull over.
I mean, it'd
you
be
have
great to drink a six-pack while I'm driving.
I'm not saying you have to watch it while you're driving. You could, but it's for people in their cars.
Right.
You're stuck in traffic. Turn on a TV show. What's wrong with that? I didn't create the traffic. I got to find a solution to keep my sanity. You're stealing my sanity with this 85 collapse and all this bullshit. So I'm going to, find self-medicate if you're not going to help me make it easy, my commute. So I get in my BMW mobile studio and I find a place to park. So I want to lead in safety. I don't want people to do stupid things.
Oh, so you're not driving. Okay.
I'm not making judgments about people's choices. I'm saying, listen, I think it's a bad idea. You could watch while you're driving, but I think it's a bad idea, but you could. I'm not one to nanny. I'm not nanny stating anybody. That's not my purpose here. My purpose is to entertain and give people something to chew on, something to think about, as I do with you every other week.
Indeed.
You come away from these sessions, you look in your eyes just like, I have just witnessed. I've heard things oh my God, this is genius.
It's like the Jewish Jesus has just been in my presence.
Right. You're going to look back on these days and you're going to say in your memoir, like that Larry Wachs, just his influence on me was astounding.
It is.
So that's all I intend to do. Just influence people to do things the right way.
Well, I was watching the other day, and you got approached by a young lady named Kimberly seeking change.
There was a vagrant that came by asking for money. Yeah.
Do you think she ever got her $19?
I didn't investigate. I didn't care. I really. I thought it was good to have her on, show the gritty reality of the streets of Peachtree Corners and what's going on out there.
I thought it was cool that you opened your window. I don't know that I would have.
Anytime you approach a situation or a person, your default is humble and kind. Just be humble and kind.
Not naked and afraid.
You don't know who this person is. You don't know what they're out to do. Maybe they're out to help you. Maybe they're about to give you $10,000.
Or tell you have a busted taillight or something like that.
Yeah. Or they've got a great massage for you. You never know. So, and more often than not, it's not going to be any good thing. It's going to be, beg for money. But they just treat people nicely. I'm sure she's in circumstance. She made bad choices, but why pile on her? She's already down.
Right.
Don't be mean to her. You don't have to give her money. I don't think that helps. But you don't have to be mean. That certainly doesn't help.
No, I liked how you called the congregation for a group prayer to see if God would hook her up with the $19 she needed for rent.
Yeah, I did something. I mean, you got to put it in motion. Maybe I said the exact words in the right order that put her on the path back to success.
Could be.
You never know. But if you keep saying the right words in the right order to a lot of people, once in a while it's going to stick.
Right.
I want people who don't know me, watching. And it was great on Periscope. I introduced another innovation on only the third day of the commuter show, which was taking live phone calls in my car.
Yeah.
I got a second phone, right?
I was wondering if you gave out your cell phone number and it didn't match.
That's not. It's on my account.
Right.
But I shut it off. I don't use it for anything but the commuter show.
Nice. What kind of feedback have you been getting?
Great feedback. Nothing but great feedback. So I put this phone number out there, and I just held it in my hand, waiting for it to ring. Some prank caller called up with all kinds of racial hate and wanted to kill me and everything.
Oh, boy.
So that was fun. And but we took callers from all over the metro area.
I've noticed somewhat of a trend. Most of these shows take place in the afternoon. Is there a specific time that people can look out for it so they can see it live and in person?
I've been doing it at 5 p.m.
Okay.
I think that's like the heart of rush hour. That's the traditional American get off of work time, and I'm trying to reach the people who do the 9 to 5.
Nice.
Just the people who have nothing. They have nothing. Most people have no TV or radio station they can really call their own because none of them speak to them anymore. All run by the globalist media corporations. And nobody, local radio, national radio, nobody has a show that truly speaks to the things they care about.
I love how you did the giveaway the other day. 2 crisp $5 bills.
If you can find my location.
I think that's cool. I think that's what's missing.
Yeah, but after the race hate phone call, I'm thinking I'll just keep my location anonymous. I mean, I know it's great television, but I don't want to be smoked live on Facebook Live. I know that's the big trend now, but I'm not going to be part of it.
Yeah, that was
I'm
brutal.
opting out of that. I haven't seen any of them, by the way. I know they're out there, but actually, now I think about it, am I sure that that's actually happened? Because I haven't seen any of them.
I saw one and I wish I hadn't seen it.
You did?
The guy up in Cleveland.
Why'd you look? I'm curious. I'm not saying you did the wrong thing.
No,
but
I did.
That's why I didn't look, because I knew no good can come of it.
It was really one of those things where it's like watching a train wreck. It's terrible and people die, but you still want to see it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But the aftermath of a train wreck, I'll give you an example. I thought it would be a good idea to videotape my daughter's birth. And I went the graphic angle, full on. And after that, I could never eat my wife's again. I couldn't. I was just like, I saw the train wreck, and it's like, you can repair it all you want, and it was fine, but I just couldn't eat her anymore. I just couldn't. It was a mistake. I take all the blame for it. I set myself up for failure with regard to cunnilingus.
All my buddies warned me about that. They're like, dude, whatever you do, don't look. Some Indiana Jones stuff. Don't
sit in the waiting room. Don't be even in the... I mean, they're going to demand, the wife, that you be in there with her. You say, honey, it's for the best. And what's she going to do? Divorce you when she has a newborn because you weren't in the waiting room? It's emotional blackmail. Don't fall for it, guys, if you're having kids. Ugh. We
had a C-section, so I was up by her head, but I did look and see.
Oh, no, you don't want to be... A C-section's even worse. You're cutting open her belly. Oh.
It was something else,
Joey
man.
Wensler.
I took pictures, too. It was insane.
Tear them up. I have a tape floating around of it someplace. I can't look at it anymore because I won't be able to eat my girlfriend's It'll be just too much. I'll just see too much damage. Do you think a gynecologist eats out his wife's I don't think so.
Probably not. They stare at them all day, and you can't pick and choose who's you want to see.
And some of them are foamy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think... If I were a gynecologist, I'd be so gay.
I think most of them probably are.
I would suck every weekend. It would just turn me so off to...
Right. Because when they're going, they're usually not there for the right reasons. It's not like they're in pristine condition. There's something smelly going on.
Right. You're never seeing pristine ever. Never. They're never pristine.
And there's no way you could open a OBGYN business and say ages 18 to 25.
Well, I mean, it's a store for damaged. I've seen interviews with former, sex superstars of screen, and they all say, like the guys especially, it turns your sex life to hamburger meat. You just can't. You just say you don't want to have sex, and so you have to either date another sex superstar of the screen,
right?
Or, I mean, but, those people are terrible human beings to be around for any length of time. You can't trust living with them. It's the same effect, I think. The human emotional brain just can't handle all that grossness and stuff, and then it'd be expected to be aroused by it. Arousal and disgust are two opposing, polar, opposite emotions.
Always a blast to have Larry WACHS right here in Wens World. Of course, check out that commuter show we just talked about. Sporadically, Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock on Facebook Live and Periscope. Hey, in the next few weeks, I'm so excited to announce a brand new segment here in Wens World. One Tank Trips. Where would you go and what would you do with only one tank of gas? Stick with us.
Experience the Southern Sisters radio show uncensored and unfiltered on Facebook. Find us at Southern Sisters with Jenny Earhart. I'm in Wens World, and I love it.
All right, here's the deal, humans. I have stepped in my own feces for long enough. Nobody's leaving this house until I get fresh litter.
That may be how all this started. A 911 call from Greenfield, Wisconsin by a couple claiming their cat was holding them hostage.
This is going to sound like a strange question, but we have a cat, and it's going crazy, and it's attacked my husband, and we're kind of hostage in our house, and we're just wondering who we can call to do something, get rid of the cat, or help us.
Thankfully, the authorities came and took the cat away before any more injuries were sustained by the couple. But for a moment, imagine this had escalated into a situation where the SWAT team had to be called. This is Sergeant Tabby with the Greenfield SWAT team. What exactly are your demands?
Here's the deal, coppers. I have 3 conditions for the release of these 2 humans. 1, I want a kilo of catnip delivered within the hour. Leave it on the doorstep and get the heck out of here. Condition 2, a diamond collar. And don't give me none of that cubic zirconia crap. I want the real deal. 3, a brand new scratching post. Hypoallergenic, please. I'm very sensitive.
There have been times where I have wondered, Not if, but when my cats are going to eat me. You may be thinking to yourself, Wens, that is absurd. They're felines. You're human. You outweigh them by a good 200 pounds. But I have to sleep. Oh, and they know that. Still think I'm crazy? Well, I'll wake up in the morning and my cat is sitting on my chest staring at me. Probably wondering, is he going to wake up? Is he going to wake up? I mean, dry food's good, but his face looks delicious. I do believe the feline is smarter than the canine. Also appearing quite malevolent. I mean, look at a gargoyle. They look so much alike. Cats are like people that don't talk, which is kind of dangerous. The quiet ones are always the ones more likely to snap. And there's no competition. Cats have 9 lives. We have 1. Do the math, people. The odds are against us.
Welcome to Wynn's World. It's weird science time.
Yes, indeed. It is time for Weird Science here in Wynn's World, and we bring the experts from a fantastic organization out in California, Reasons to Believe, found online, reasons.org. And we have one of our favorite doctors back, Dr. Fazale Rana, also known as Dr. Fuzz here in Wynn's World. Dr. Fuzz, how you been?
Joey, I've been good. How about you?
Fan-freaking-tastic. Our good friend Anastasia sent us this press release talking about artificial wombs for lambs being a success in some experiments. How does this benefit mankind in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great question. And the real goal of this research is to develop an artificial womb that can be used to treat premature infants, especially extreme premature infants that are born prior to 28 weeks into pregnancy. And the reason why the researchers tried it out on lambs is, number one, you don't want to experiment on humans, but secondly, lambs, believe it or not, have lung development in their prenatal stage that's very similar to human lung development, and that's one of the big concerns when a baby is born prematurely is proper lung development. So that's why they tried this out on lambs.
So as we're looking at this experiment, when did it take place? How far in the future are we going to be able to see other breeds of animals and possibly humans using this technology as to our benefit?
Well, it's really actually pretty cool technology that these researchers developed, and it's all built around something they call a biobag, which is like a polyethylene sac that has an opening that you can put in this case, the neonatal lamb into the sac and seal it up. And then because it's sealed, it's going to avoid contamination with bacteria and other materials in the environment.
Right.
And they can pump in this amniotic-like fluid that would fill the lungs even of the neonate, which is actually a good thing because that's how premature infants live at that point in time, is with liquid in their lungs. They can tap into the umbilical cord and put in tubing that allows the neonate's heart to pump the blood through the umbilical cord and the tubing into a gas exchanger that replaces CO2 in the blood with oxygen. And they can even introduce ports into the tubes to introduce nutrients and antibiotics if need be. So they're mimicking really the environment of the womb much more closely than would be the case if you just had the infant on an incubator plugged in with IVs. And it was a huge success with these lambs. It did its job in a remarkable way.
So, Dr. Fuzz, what's the success to failure ratio here?
Well, I mean, the pilot study involved 8 lambs that were taken via C-section from their mothers at the time in pregnancy that would correspond to 22 weeks in a human pregnancy, and that's significant because that's kind of like the lower limit.
Right.
If a baby is born before 22 weeks, its likelihood of surviving is very, very low. And so they put these lambs, 8 of them, into these biobags, and they could, because they were clear, they could watch them grow and develop. Even they began to form wool, and then they took them out of the biobags after 4 weeks and then put them on ventilators, and they showed that their organ development, particularly the lung and the brain development, was normal. And they're now monitoring some of these lambs just to make sure there's not any kind of long-term health effects. But this is exciting because they think that in about 3 years, they might be able to introduce this technology into a clinical setting for human babies that are born prematurely.
In case you're just joining us, we are with Dr. Fazale Rana from Reasons to Believe. You can connect with the good doctor on Twitter at RTB_FRNA. ANA. Now, I want to go a little sci-fi with this, right? Because when we're talking about human beings, we're inevitably going to talk about convenience and comfort. And I've never carried a child. My wife has. And towards the last part, it gets really difficult for women to live their lives apart from pain and misery. At what point do you think humans will lean towards doing this rather than carrying a child if this technology becomes accessible in the mainstream?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, and right now, the goal of this is just to improve the quality of care for preterm infants.
Right.
But you could easily see people getting the bright idea that, look, why not just have a C-section a few months early and put the baby into these artificial wombs and let the technology take the baby to full term? That's a very real possibility. I mean, right now, the technology is only designed for a short-term stay in the bio bag, but you could envision people looking at this as, again, kind of an alternative to pregnancy. We're not there yet. The technology isn't there yet, and we don't know if this is preferred or even comparable to what happens inside the womb. That may be very, very difficult to replicate in the long run, which is my suspicion. But this is kind of the challenging times that we live in, is that we're having incredible technology developments that can literally transform people's lives, can transform the quality of care we can provide people who suffer from diseases and injuries and things like that. But that technology can also be used for convenience or to extend our biological capabilities. And this is just another one of those examples where we have to have that active bioethics debate as we develop these technologies.
Now, when you're talking about the bioethic debate, what would be the argument of those that aren't for this technology growing and prospering in the modern world, per se?
You know, there's a finite amount of resources that we have, and medicine costs a lot of money. And so the question is, if there's a woman who's capable of taking a baby to full term and she's healthy and the baby's healthy, then for her to use this technology for her convenience means that there are going to be women who can't take a child to preterm, who may not have access to the technology because of cost and finite resources. So it's a question of should we allow people to use this technology for their convenience when it might deny people access to the technology who, again, couldn't have that access because of just finite resources. So, I mean, that would be one example of some of the ethical issues. And again, you know, there still could be health consequences for preterm children. That's one of the big issues right now is even though we can do quite a bit for babies that are born early, they're still concerned that there's lingering health effects because they didn't develop in the womb. And even if we can still replicate the womb, there still could be long-term health effects that we just simply may not know of. And again, I would argue there's probably no real replacement for carrying that baby full term in the mother.
Right. And as I've always said, if we're up to guys to populate the planet, we would have been wiped out a long time ago.
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, one of the things that's really interesting to me about this, if I can continue on this bioethics trajectory, you know, it's amazing how much technology that's an effort that's being expended to extend the likelihood of survivability and long-term health of premature infants. That's ultimately what's motivating this work. Yet we live in a culture where people can have ready access to abortions, and I just find that interesting or ironic. There's a double-mindedness to our culture, and I suspect that at the end of the day, we're willing to invest this kind of effort in technology to improve the quality of care for preterm babies because we know in our heart of hearts that those little guys are incredibly valuable and have infinite worth. And I think this kind of research really just highlights the fact that we do really think of these unborn children as real people, as real human beings.
I think it's really simple. Once the connection happens, once the egg is fertilized, there's a new life. And we'll always have the debate of first term, second term, at what point does it become a child? But the moment I found out that my wife was pregnant, I knew I was a dad. And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, I sure can. And that's kind of how I felt.
Man, always with the keenest of insights. Dr. Fazale Rana, you can connect with the good doctor on Twitter at RTB_Dr. Frana. And of course, Reasons is found online, reasons.org. Dr. Fuzz, always great to have you in One's World. Can't wait to talk next time.
Thanks, Joey. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Experience the Southern Sisters Radio Show uncensored and unfiltered on Facebook. Find us at Southern Sisters with Jenny Earhart. I'm in Wynn's World, and I love it.
My friend, there is absolutely no better way to get the word out about your business, brand, or organization than right here on KLRN Radio. Wynn's World draws the listeners nationwide, and I'm happy to get the word out about your business, brand, and organization. So shoot me an email, wensworldradio@gmail.com, WENZ, worldradio@gmail.com. I'm also accessible on Twitter. Direct message me there at Wynn's World Radio. We'll talk soon. Friends, we've all seen the beauty pageants, whether it be Miss America or Miss Universe. Those girls up on stage, nervous as heck, waiting to see if the judges deem them worthy enough to be crowned. But their worth isn't determined by looks alone. It's also gauged by their answers to trivial questions. As you've probably noticed, the responses seem very predictable and trite. But what if the models actually told us what they really mean? The following is an excerpt from the 2015 Miss America pageant.
Miss Georgia, if you were granted one wish, what would that wish be?
Oh, that's an easy question. My one wish would be world peace.
Miss Georgia, what do you really mean?
Well, that's easy. My one wish would be to get my fill at the Shoney's Sunday breakfast buffet and not have to throw it back up.
Life is always moving and shaking right here in Wynn's World. Without further ado, the very latest. The following are the don'ts and do's of exceptionally eccentric leadership. Kim Chung II, former supreme leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, better known as North Korea. This guy was all about absolute power. He wanted to be glorified by his people as pretty much as God on earth. So, he had a famous director's wife kidnapped from South Korea and brought into North Korea. Now, the unhappy husband made his way into the country in order to save his wife. Once he arrived, he realized that he was a prisoner. Him and his wife worked together to collaborate and make 7 movies for the Supreme Leader, many of which deified Kim Chung II. These were propaganda films. The last was kind of a knockoff of the movie Godzilla. It was entitled Pulgasari. The Supreme Leader was so pleased by this quote-unquote masterpiece that he allowed the director and his wife to take a business trip to Vienna. Surprisingly, once the director and his wife got to Vienna, they went straight to the American embassy and never returned to North Korea. Now, here are some leadership lessons that we can apply from this case study to our own lives. If we ever get the opportunity to kidnap a Steven Spielberg or Judd Apatow, capitalize on that opportunity. But don't get duped when your prisoners ask to leave and go somewhere, because they're not coming back. So, in this case study, Mr. Spielberg wants to run to Subway because he's hungry. I would say, no, Mr. Spielberg, you may not go to Subway. I will go for you. Would you prefer a BMT or a meatball sub? The Supreme Leader got caught slipping because he ended up trusting those he held captive. Big mistake. However, I will give credit where credit is due. So, big points to Kim Jong II for his plan that actually worked. But those points automatically deducted for trusting his prisoners to not desert him when they were given a chance.
Oh, writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Well, that was awkward. So Rebecca, a 38-year-old man just outside of Bangkok, was sitting on the toilet doing his business. All of a sudden, a 10-foot python comes up through the toilet and attaches himself to, well, the man's member. I can't imagine the thoughts that went through his mind and his wife's mind. I mean, they both lose equally in this situation if things don't go well. So their first thought was, hey, we need help. We got to call the neighbor. Can you imagine how that phone call went?
Ring, ring. Hello. Yes, I'm going to need some help over here. My husband got his penis bitten off by a python. I'm going to need your help over here to come dislodge it.
A minute later, the neighbor arrived. All three of them worked together to separate the snake's jaw from the man's junk. A lot of blood was lost, so naturally they called the authorities to come help out. The authorities came and finally got the snake out from the pipe. This snake is literally every bit of 10 feet. It's massive. Now, Rebecca, if you were this man's wife, what would be going on in your mind right now?
Well, aside from trying to keep from laughing, I probably would be thinking, oh my God, is my husband going to lose his member? I mean, he can't function without his Jimmy. Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty much a romance killer from there on out. What's worse is that nowadays anything that happens is noticed around the globe. I mean, this happened in Thailand, and we know about it here in America. And even more awkward is that the man's picture is all over the web. Thankfully for him, I can't even pronounce it, Adaporn Bunmakchi. Forgive me, I butchered the heck out of that name. But he is thankfully going to survive, and his Adaporn Jr. is going to survive. He's going to need some stitches, but he's going to make a recovery. Thank God. You know what? I think it's safe to say that this man will forever squat rather than sit. And it may go without saying, but that was awkward.
There's snakes in the garden, blood on the vines.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Hi, this is Vinny Bucci, a.k.a. The Booch of the Male Soap Opera Moment. Make sure you check out the Boochcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Also, like the show on Facebook, where you can find archived episodes. I'm in Wins World, and I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wrestling is so not fake, Joey.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
This is your male soap opera moment.
Bust out the spandex and the baby oil, because as you know, it's time for the male soap opera moment with the one, the only, Vincent J. Bucci.
That's right. I am here, spandex and all, although that might be a bad visual for some people, but an even better one for others.
Hey, haters are going to hate, Vince. I think you're looking good nowadays, I got to tell you.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man. So let's start here. As you know, Backlash this Sunday live from Chi-Town, only on the WWE Network, which, by the way, you can have for a mere $9.99. Let's talk a little Maharaja versus the Viper for WWE Championship Gold. Vince Bucci, who you got?
This one I've really been on the fence about lately, because on the one hand, Jinder Mahal has been getting an amazing push.
Right.
But at the same time, WWE does have a habit of trying to swerve the audience. So even because this has been so one-sided with Jinder Mahal constantly getting the best of Randy Orton, I have this fear that Randy Orton is somehow going to win. So I want Jinder Mahal, but my prediction is Randy Orton. I think Orton's going to keep the belt.
I agree. I think it's too early, and they're not going to give us what we want right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really going to push this out. If anything, I'd say wait till SummerSlam before he's champion.
And another reason why I think that, just going into the story of this, is that the Singh brothers will have an inevitable role on Sunday night, helping the Maharaja get almost to that place. But I don't think that they're going to give him the gold at this point, this early on, despite the help from the Singh brothers. But yeah, I think it's going to be one hell of a match, and I think it's probably going to be the second best match of the night. And we'll get to the first best, in my opinion, here eventually. But in the meantime, we'll talk about AJ Styles taking on the new face of America, by the way, Mr. Kevin Owens.
Yeah, this is going to be a great match. I am so looking forward to this because these are two of the best in-ring wrestlers on the planet. Kevin Owens is amazing in the ring despite his size, and AJ Styles, well, he can have a great match with pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
I'm predicting Kevin Owens is going to keep it because I don't think he's going to lose the belt this early. Like I said, the only reason I think Jericho won at Payback was to put Jericho on SmackDown Live so that after he's done touring with Fazale, when he comes back to WWE, he can just go straight to SmackDown. He doesn't have to automatically go to Raw. So I think that's why Kevin Owens lost, but then he quickly got the belt back. So I think Kevin Owens is winning this Sunday. I'm calling it.
I'm going to disagree. I think AJ Styles gets the gold.
All right.
It would be a quick switch because, as we know, Kevin Owens won the gold and then lost the gold and then won the gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this kind of trend will continue with the United States title. I think this also opens up the avenue for Kevin Owens to approach that championship belt, WWE championship belt, here in the next month or two, because I think he's going to get back into that main title picture. And AJ Styles would be a good U.S. champion. I don't like the fact that a Canadian is holding the belt right now. It really irks me.
Well, I think it irks a lot of people, and that's really what makes Kevin Owens' gimmick work, is that he's really using that new face of America thing to his advantage. And it's like I said a few episodes back, it's wrestling 101. And it still works with the fans. That's what makes it great, is the fact that you're taking something so common in wrestling, where someone who's not American hates on Americans, because that's what makes us the most angry. It's like we'll let other as Americans, we'll make fun of each other, but if another country makes fun of us, we don't like it. Automatically we don't like it.
Exactly.
Like, you'd rather have someone who's American tell you you're lazy and no good than having someone from another country tell you you're lazy and no good. It's just natural. So it works for Kevin Owens. But I agree, AJ Styles would be a great United States champion, and I would definitely want to use him to elevate that championship, because there will come a day when AJ Styles will be in the WWE title picture again. But in the meantime, you got to make your secondary belts mean something.
Right.
And Styles has even said he would like to do that with the United States Championship. So I would love to see him win, but I still say Kevin's going to win, but if Styles wins, I'll have no complaints.
And as we look towards the tag team championships on the SmackDown brand, Breezango battling the Usos. I watched a little bit of this back and forth after Breezango's match, and I'm liking the Usos less and less. It's just it seems too aggressive too soon after they drop the paint. And I understand, the switch of the characters, but to me, it's like they're trying too hard.
I disagree. I think it's more and more.
Okay,
I think it's great. I think the Usos are they're in this character. I mean, at first, it was kind of crazy, but the thing is, the rhythm, the timing works. The 12 days promo is going to go down as the best Usos promo on the planet.
It was pretty good.
The 12 days.
That.
But this one, they're getting it happening. They're really, really, really coming into their own as a heel tag team. I feel like for the longest time they were in limbo with this gimmick because they had the gimmick, it worked, but they were never getting the tag team titles. They were rarely getting TV time. It's like they turned them heel and then forgot what to do with them. So now the Usos, now that they're the champions, they're almost obligated to get on the air. So they're taking advantage of whatever mic time they can get. As a tag team, you don't get a lot, so you got to come out of the gate. It's not like with the main event guys where Randy Orton can have an off day with a promo and be a little more calm and laid back because he'll get a chance to talk next week. Who knows when after this rivalry ends? Who knows when the Usos will get a microphone in their hands? So
right.
They got to make do with the airtime, the TV time that they're getting. So I think they're doing great, and I'm loving Breezango as well. I think the Fashion Police thing is one of the best gimmicks I've ever seen.
It's growing on me. It took a little while, but I'm starting to understand their gimmick.
Yeah.
And they're working really well together on these promos. They're a lot better on the promos than I thought they would be initially.
Yeah. And what's cool is that I think they should just drop Breezango and call themselves the Fashion Police as a tag team.
Yes. Great idea.
And I want to see this gimmick grow. I wanted them to come out to the ring like I know this is going to sound weird, but let Tyler Breeze save the selfie stick for singles matches.
Yeah.
Just come out as the Fashion Police with the music, keep the music because the music works, and have them come out with tickets. And you should and even if you got to plant people in the audience, plant people that are just wearing tacky clothes or that, and I know it's going to sound mean, but who society in general would deem as uggos, and give them just fines as they come out to the ring. And you have them autograph it so they're less likely to throw it away.
Right.
So you just give them out to the crowd, and then what I like to see is if somebody in backstage is wearing something tacky, have them in a golf cart with a little siren on it, pull people over, and give citations. Let them write them a ticket. Because if you did that, you could grow if you're going to give them a gimmick, let them go all the way till let us decide when enough is enough.
Right.
Instead of management. Because trust me, the fans will let them know when they go too far with something. So I want to see that from both these teams, but I think as much as I would love to see Breezango win the tag team titles, I think the Usos are taking it. I see them holding on to it.
I agree with you. I think it's too soon in this project that is the new Uso character to lose the gold at this point. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Dolph Ziggler here. This has been a back-and-forth rivalry for the last several weeks. Pretty interesting promo package that Dolph put together for Shinsuke. Very short. Nothing to speak of there. But, Dolph, it's hard to argue. Just look at what he's done for the WWE. And obviously, he's been on the back burner for so long. He's been somewhat of a jobber as of late. I can't help but think that this will continue and Shinsuke gets the win on Sunday.
Oh, he definitely gets the win on Sunday.
Right.
It's his first match in WWE on the main roster, so they're going to want him to start out strong, so he's definitely going to win that. And I like it because technically Dolph Ziggler with that video promo, he wasn't lying. Nakamura Nakamura's done nothing in WWE. Now, NXT, on the other hand, the man's practically a god down there.
Right.
He was a 2-time NXT champion, had a great rivalry with Samoa Joe, tore the house down with Bobby Roode before he had to drop the title and leave and come to the main roster. So in NXT, he's been amazing. But in WWE, he's done nothing. But the fans remember NXT. That's why they're chanting for him. And Ziggler took it to another level and made the heel turn work for him.
Right.
So I think Nakamura definitely wins this Sunday.
Taking a look at a match that we were talking about before we got on air here that I'm not really interested in, but we'll just get a main prediction for this match. Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky unite against the Welcoming Committee in a non-title match. The only title, as Bucci pointed out before we started, not being defended on this SmackDown pay-per-view.
Yeah, the women's title, they decided to sit that one out, which I do have a bit of an issue with, only because the pay-per-view, the next SmackDown pay-per-view, won't be for another month on end. So when are they going to defend it on another SmackDown? That kind of degrades it. Like if all the shows had one pay-per-view and they were going to be at Extreme Rules in 3 weeks, I wouldn't care.
Right.
Because then, okay, we'll have them fight in a pay-per-view in 3 weeks, but now it'll be another month before we see that. Like at the end of June, maybe or July, depending on where they schedule it. Right. So that's what bothers me. But honestly, I'm calling the Welcoming Committee on this one.
Me too.
I think one of two things is going to happen. Either Becky's going to turn on the team or Charlotte's going to turn on the team. But Charlotte will probably walk out on the match, or that's probably what I see happening. Or Becky Lynch turns on them because Naomi and Charlotte just can't get on the same page.
Yeah, those are great. Those are great probable outcomes in that match. Taking a look at a couple of the former Wyatt family brothers here. Eric facing off against his brother Luke. I like Eric on this one.
I got to go with Harper. I don't trust them to push Rowan as a singles guy.
Okay. Despite the win earlier 2 weeks back.
Oh, it was great. I was shocked. I was just surprised. I mean, like I said, if I'd have no objections, I just don't think they're pushing Eric Rowan as a solo guy. I don't think so. I think Harper's going to take it.
In the last match, before we move to our on-demand version of the male soap opera moment here, for the sake of the on-air time constraints, Sami Zayn sets out to destroy the Lone Wolf. I like Baron in this one.
Baron, they're not this Sami Zayn, and this is a pet peeve that I have with WWE about this. They want to push Sami Zayn as the underdog,
right?
But here's the thing: the underdog can only lose so much before fans give up hope, and right. I think they have abused that point with Sami Zayn. I love Sami. I would love to see him get a push, but I don't think he's going to beat Baron Corbin. I think they're going to be like, he's the brave man that can take the punch. That's what they're doing with Sami Zayn. Like he's like the knockdown, get back up, keep knocking down, get back up. But at some point, the good guy has to win for the moral to work.
Indeed.
And I think they forget that in WWE. Like we like seeing the underdog struggle, but we need the payoff at the end.
And the payoff continues. On demand, SoundCloud.com, up in the search bar, Wenz World, WENZ. It's there you can find the extended version of the male soap opera moment and every other discussion that we have with our fantastic guests here in Wenz World, unedited on demand for your listening pleasure. Until next week, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Hey everyone, this is Jenny Earhart with the Southern Sisters Radio Show, the show for Southern women and the men who adore them. We love to chat every week about Southern culture, Southern food, hospitality, basically everything that makes up the Southern lifestyle. Join us this Saturday at noon and again on Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on AM 920 The Answer. I'm in Wenz World and I love it.
Hey guys, it's Margaret Schwenke. I'm in Wens World, and I'm here to raise you to the best version of yourself. Do you have the energy that you want to have? Are you in the smoking hot body that you're proud to take into summer? I'm leading a 21-day challenge, and it's going to be amazing. We're focusing on nutrition, fitness, meal planning tips, and all of this is taking place in a fun online community. The members of my current challenge are killing it and experiencing amazing results in their body. Reach out to me for more information, as I'm always accepting new participants for my next challenge. Nourish at margaretschwenke.com. NOURISH at MARGARETSCHWENKE.com. Later.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.